We know that as we grow, the hurdles will be more. Each time we are washed away, we bounce back to the shore. We know we lead the way, keeping odds at bay. See the sunrise tomorrow, inspire the world to follow.
Okay, I am Sumanto Kundu, Assistant Professor of Department of Electrical Engineering of Narula Institute of Technology. So, in module number 5 of the course curriculum of E701, that is electric drive, we are going to discuss the topic induction motor drive. Okay, so before we developed our knowledge in lecture number 9 on the topic of induction motor drive, we should know the outcome or course objective. So, have a glance of the objective or outcome. Okay, so let's start lecture number 9 of induction motor drive. Now, in this lecture number 9, we are going to discuss first we are going to discuss the equivalent circuit, the equivalent circuit, torque versus speed characteristics, and its effects depending on certain parameters if time permit. Okay, actually we are going to discuss this topic in a very nutshell, in a very gist manner, because already in our electrical machines, basic electrical, we have learned all these things. So we are not going to discuss from the very basics preliminaries of induction motor, that is what are the different kind of induction motor, what is the working principle of induction motor, how rotating magnetic field is produced in the stator of an induction motor, how the torque is produced. We are not going to discuss all these things because these you can recapitulate from my YouTube channel. It is already there. You can go through that, or you can refer some books like M.G. Say, Fitzgerald's and Chapman books, Cushing Lloyd. You can follow these books. You can recapitulate all these things. So I am going to start from equivalent circuit. Okay. So to brush up your knowledge. Now, whenever we discussed the equivalent circuit model of an induction motor previously in our electrical machine classes, we always discuss the per phase equivalent circuit, because this equivalent circuit is a very important tool for analysis and performance, for the analysis and performance prediction under steady state condition. Under steady state condition, it is very much essential. Okay, so if we see the per phase equivalent circuit of an induction motor, so this is my per phase equivalent circuit of an induction motor. Now we know that induction motor has two parts, one is stator, another one is rotor, and we can consider induction motor as a rotating transformer. We can consider this is as a rotating transformer. Okay, so if you see the equivalent circuit of an uh, induction motor is very similar to a transformer in short circuit condition, okay, except this parallel branches. Okay, now we know that inside the stator there is a production of synchronously rotating air gap flux. So we know this circuit. This is basically similar to the transformer circuit, and we have read out this several times. So the inside the rotor, we know that there is a production of synchronously rotating air gap flux. That means the rotating flux is rotated at synchronous speed ns rpm. Okay, now due to this production of synchronously rotating air gap flux, there is a production of counter EMF. There is a production of counter EMF, CEMF. There is a production of counter EMF, VM. Okay, so if we see in the equivalent circuit, there is a production of counter EMF, VM, and this VM is going to convert this slip voltage in the rotor VR dash. So this VR dash is the slip voltage, and this is the result of this counter EMF VM. Now here we can see the stator to rotor turns ratio is 1 to S, 1 to N, and S is the per unit slip. Okay, so we know from our basic transformer principle that V1 by V2 equals to E1 by E2 equals to I2 by I1 equals to N1 by N2. So voltage transfer in direct ratio, and is current transfer in inverse ratio. We know that. So from here we know in the stator side the counter EMF is Vm, and rotor side the slip EMF which is producing is VR dash. So this is convert into direct ratio, that is 1 by N, and S term will appear because this is basically this slip voltage. So if from here we will get that VR dash equals to NS VM. So we get VR dash equals to NS VM, because this is the relation we developed in the concept of transformer, and all the basic concept of transformer is applicable in case of induction motor. Now this stator supply voltage Vs. So if we see the equivalent circuit again, this is my supply voltage Vs, and this is my counter EMF, or you can say it the induced EMF because of the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction and Lenz's law. So this Vs is differ from the voltage by a drop of stator resistance. So there is a drop in this stator resistance and this leakage inductance L1s. In some books or in my previous lecture classes, if you follow in the YouTube, you will get that this L is considered as X, reactance is taken. both are same thing, because we know that x is nothing but reactance is nothing but omega L. So whether we consider x, whether we consider L, it is the same thing. So as we have discussed in our previous lecture, taken x as parameter, so here we will do a different way to develop this taking L. So a different calculation method we will develop here, so that all the methods, all the basic concept we should be able to inculcate within ourself. Now again, if we go to the equivalent circuit, you see this the uh, the main current Is is dividing into two part. One is I0, one is IR. Okay, and this I0 again divided into two parts, similar to a transformer. One is IC, that is the core loss component, and one is the IM, that is the magnetizing component. And we know from our basic concept that IC equals to this voltage Vm, V by R, that is Vm by Rm, and Im equals to Vm by XL, that is Vm by omega E Lm. So we got from our basic transformer concept, I C equals to V by R, Vm by Rm, and I M equals to Vm by XL, that is Vm by omega E L1 M, or whatever I have taken. Let me see what we have taken here. Sorry, it is taken Lm. So it will be Vm by omega E Lm only, not L1M. Okay. Here omega is nothing but the angular synchronous speed in radian per second. We can take it as ns, or we can take it as omega E. Here we have used a different notation, omega E, and this Rm is the equivalent resistance for core loss, and this Lm is magnetizing inductance. Okay. Now the this Vr dash, that is the rotor induced voltage. For this there will be a flow of rotor current Ir dash at sleep frequency. We know that if S equals to SFR, that is the supply frequency or stator frequency, equals to S into rotor frequency. Because we know from the basic concept of our induction motor that induction motor working principle is totally standing on the relative speed difference between the stator and the synchronously rotating magnetic field inside this, and that difference between this, you can say it is omega E, or you can say it is ns. You can term the rotor speed as nr, whatever may be. This ns minus nr, that is the slip speed difference. Slip speed difference is the responsible for the working of the transformer. That's why we have taken this as NSVM, because in sleep frequency, when it is standstill, S equals to 1, but when it is running condition, everything is happening inside due to this sleep frequency. So this IR dash will produce at sleep frequency omega SL. So here we have taken sleep frequency as omega SL, and this current is basically limited by this rotor resistance R dash and L1 R dash. Okay, this is leakage inductance. So its corresponding leakage reactance will be omega SL L I R dash, because we know X equals to omega L, and here slip frequency we have denoted as omega SL. So this leakage reactance will be, if we consider this as, instead of L1 R dash, as X R dash or X1 R dash, so X1 R dash will be my X1 R dash will be my X1 R dash will be my omega SL into L1 R dash, because we have taken omega SL here as the slip frequency. Okay. Now I want to determine the value of rotor current. Okay, that is IR. So I want to now, if you see the equivalent circuit, so this is the equivalent circuit with the stator and rotor. Now I want to refer all the rotor quantity inside into the stator value, that is the referred value of the secondary into the primary, similar to a transformer, and we have done these things several times. So this is my equivalent circuit with respect to the stator, and now the current IR dash will become IR. So again we know from our basic knowledge what, that current change in inverse ratio, current change in inverse ratio. So if we apply this, IR by IR dash equals to, it is stator side. Okay, IR, the current in the stator side, so inverse ratio. So the ratio is 1:n, so it will be n by 1. So it will give me IR equals to n IR dash, and we know that if we put the value, we know that IR equals to n IR dash, and what is my IR dash? What is my IR dash? The slip voltage that is developed inside the rotor, we just discussed few minutes back, due to that counter EMF Vm is VR dash, so it will be voltage VR dash divided by resistance was RR dash plus J, leakage reactance was omega SL L1 R dash. We have know all this quantity. Okay. So this is my IR dash. Now if we put the value of VR dash we know equals to, so here there is a N, and VR dash equals to again NS VM, we have discussed this. So N into N, that is becoming N square S VM divided by IR dash plus J omega SL L1R dash. Okay. Now if we divided this numerator and denominator by n square S, so numerator will Vm, and here it will become that IR dash by n square S plus J omega SL L1 dash by n square S. Okay. Now we know that slip frequency we have assumed here omega SL, and omega SL equals to S into omega E. So omega SL by S equals to omega E, and we know we have taken the referred value. So IR square, IR dash by N square, we can take IR, and L1 and 1R dash by N square, we take this as L1R. So it will become Vm by Rr by S plus J omega E L1 R. So these are the basically referred to the stator side. So my referred value of stator rotor current inside the stator value is this Vm by Rr by S plus J omega E L1 R. Okay. So this is my referred value. So that's why we have taken this is L1R, current is IR, and this is IR by S. And this is the stator. Between the stator and rotor there is air gap. So we know this. The rotor input is basically the stator output, or that we can also assume that air gap power. Now at standstill condition, that is at S equals to 1, this figure is similar to a short circuited transformer equivalent circuit. And if this rotor achieved synchronous speed, then what will happen? We know at synchronous speed S equals to 0. So if S equals to 0, so this below term will become infinity. So current IR will be 0. So the current IR will become 0 when S equals to 0. Okay. And this machine takes only the excitation current I0 only. At any subsynchronous speed means the slip value is in the range of 0 less than S less than 1. So any this range 0 less than S less than 1, or we can say in between this 0 1 the S is has a very small value, very small value. The rotor current IR is principally influenced by this parameter, that is IR by S, because this IR by S is much greater than this reactance omega E L1. We have know all this concept. Okay, now we are going to analyze this equivalent circuit. Okay, so from this figure, from this figure we can develop the different power expression from this equivalent circuit. So from here the input power is Vs Is, okay, and the angle between these two Vs Is per phase value, and if it is 3-phase transformer we are discussing, so it will be a 3 Vs Is into the power factor. So if we look this, that is the phasor diagram. This is the phasor diagram of induction motor. Okay, so if you see, this is my Vs, so this is my Vs, and which is my Is, this is my Is. So the angle between this is phi. So the power factor is cos phi. So what will be my input power? My input power P input equals to 3 into Vs Is cos of phi. So this is my input power. Now what is my stator copper loss? Stator copper loss, we can denote it as PIS. So what is my copper loss? I square R, and this 3 phase, so 3 I square R. So 3, the current is Is stator, so Is square, and the resistance is Rs, so 3 Is square into Rs. Now what is my core loss? We can take core loss as PIC. So what is my PIC? PIC is this VM's 3 VM into power is 3, because 3 phase, voltage is stator side VM, and if we recall the shunt branch parameter, the core loss component we have assumed as IC. Okay. So this core loss component we have taken as IC. So what is my core loss? Core loss. The core loss will be PIC equals to 3 voltage is VM, current is IC. And what is IC? We have done just the starting of our lecture. IC is nothing but voltage, that is VM, counter EMF, and resistance was RM. So it will become 3 VM square RM. So this is my core loss. Now what is my air gap power? PG. What is my air gap power? PG. PG is nothing but the stator output and rotor input. Now if we recall the rotor equivalent circuit, the rotor side resistance was, just few minutes back we have deduced RR by S, and the rotor current is my IR. So this is my air gap, power across air gap. So it will 3 IR square RR by S. Okay. Now what is my rotor copper loss? PIR is I square R, 3 current is IR, rotor current IR square, and resistance is RR. Okay. So what is my output power? Output power is my, suppose P output. So P output equals to rotor input, that is air gap power PG, minus rotor loss, that is PIR. Okay. Okay. So this will become 3 IR square RR by S minus 3 IR square RR, IR square RR. So if we simplify this, what it will come? It will come as 3 IR square RR 1 minus S minus 1, and again this is nothing but 1 minus S by S. So this is my output power, and you should know this Pg is the stator output, and stator output is nothing but the stator input minus stator losses, that is the copper loss and core loss, and we have deduced everything, that is uh, air gap power, Pg equals to nothing but P input power, rotor input, that means Pi in minus rotor losses, that is Pis plus Pic core loss, and we know this is 3 Vs Is cos phi minus 3 Is square Rs plus 3 Vm square by Rm. So if we simplify this, it will become 3 I square Rr by S, and that is why we have written that air gap power Pg equals to 3 I square R by S. Okay. Now this is the output power. Now from this output power, if we minus this frictional loss, that is the mechanical loss, we will get the useful power. We have discussed this in our basic knowledge of electrical machine, basic electrical. So here we will consider only taking this P naught, this output power. Okay. Now what is the torque developed? Now what is the torque developed? Okay. So we know that torque equals to Te equals to power, that is P naught by omega m. Here the rotor speed is omega m. So what it will become? It will become P naught was 3 IR square RR into 1 minus S by S, and there will be a omega. So 3 by omega m IR square RR 1 minus S by S. Okay. So this is my torque. Now we know that omega m is nothing but 2 by P. Omega m is nothing but 2 by P into omega r. We know this relation. We have taken here, it is angular speed. If we recall our linear speed, ns equals to 120 f by vp. So from here we know this is omega m equals to 2 by p omega r. So what I will do, I will put the value here. So 3 by 2 3 by 2 by p into omega r into IR square RR 1 minus S by S. So it will become 3p by 2 omega r IR square RR 1 minus S by S. Now what is my omega r? Omega r is rotor speed, that is equals to 1 minus S into synchronous speed omega e. So instead of omega r we can write this. So it will become 3 by p 2 into 1 minus S into omega e IR square RR by S. Okay, so we can write this also. So this um, this one s will cancel each other, so it will become 3p by 2 ir square rr by s omega c. So 3 by 2 into p into ir square rr s omega e. Okay, now instead of ir square, we can write it down as spg by 3r, spg by 3r, because we know that air gap power pg equals to 3 ir square rr by s. So what is my ir square? It is spg by 3 rr. So this value of ir square will put here instead of ir square. So it will become 3 by 2 into p into spg by 3 rr into rr by s omega e. So this rr cancel each other, 3 will cancel each other. So it will become p by 2, 3p by 2 I square rr by spg. So ultimately it will become p by 2 pg by omega e. So p by 2 into this ss will also cancel each other, that is pg in the numerator and omega is left in the denominator. So p by 2 into pg by omega e. Okay, so ultimately we got te equals to p by 2 pg by omega e, which is giving that indication that torque can be calculated from the air gap power if we know the stator frequency, because this is the stator frequency term related term, and this power pg is often defined as torque in synchronous watt. Here the unit is synchronous watt of torque and another unit was Newton meter. So here we have assumed synchronous watt. Okay, so again neglecting the core loss, if we neglect the core loss, okay, so let me, so if we see this phasor diagram, so if we neglect the core loss, so everything is my active component, and here the active component, this is is, this is my theta. So this is my is cos theta, and this perpendicular 90-degree component is is sin theta. We know from the basic decomposition of vector. So what is my pg, air gap power? We have neglected the core loss, so it will be 3. Voltage is Vm and the active component of current is is sin theta. So 3 Vm is sin theta. So it is 3 Vm is sin theta from the phasor. Okay, now if we recall our basic concept of EMF equation, we know that yeah, for AC machines, for any machine, the voltage V is 4.44 F, winding factor, uh, number of turns, okay, F kW, 4.44 F, and there is a flux. Here we have taken, suppose taken the flux as this, okay, and instead of F we have taken, we will take the that rotational, that is omega, we will take. So if we see this, if we see from here, we know that this Vm is will become some constant term with this xi m, okay, where this xi m is nothing but uh, the air gap flux linkage per pole RMS value. This is RMS value of flux linkage per pole. So instead of Vm, we can write for our simplicity xi m, okay, and again we know that flux linkage is nothing but phi Li. So here L is Lm and current is Im, because this phi m is responsible this current Im, and the shunt branch parameter is Lm. The shunt branch parameter is Lm. Okay, this is Lm. So it is Lm into current is Im through this branch. Okay, and also from the phasor diagram, also from this phasor diagram, if we see that Is sin theta, so this is my Is sin theta, and this current is my minus IR, and this angle is delta. So this is my IR cos delta, and this is my minus IR sin delta. So this will be plus IR sin delta. So here, from here we can say that Is sin theta equals to IR sin delta. That is, we can say from the phasor diagram. So now what we will do, we will put all this value into the torque equation. So what we got as our torque equation, T equals to, we have just deduced 3 into P by 2 into xi m. Instead of Vm, we can write xi m. We have proved that Vm is some constant into xi m. So instead of Vm, we can put xi m into the IR sin delta instead of Is sin theta. Okay, so these are the RMS value. Now we know the peak value is 3 into P by 2 xi m dash by root 2 IR dash by root 2 into sin delta. So it will become 3 by 2 P by 2 xi m dash R dash sin delta. So this is my T. Okay. Now one thing, we again know that xi m equals to Lm Im. Okay. So instead of here we can write it as 3 into P by 2, instead of xi m we got it is Lm into Im into Ia, where Ia equals to IR sine delta, where Ia equals to IR sine delta. So here phi m xi m dash is the peak value. This is the peak value IR dash, okay, and this Ia is the Ia is we can say this Ia is the torque component of the stator current. Torque component of the stator current. This is Lm, sorry, Im. This is Lm Im, and this Im is the magnetizing component of stator current, and this Ia is the torque component of the stator current. So Ia is the torque component of stator current, that is Is. Okay, so if we see this, this is very similar to the torque expression of DC machine, and you look, this Im and Ia are orthogonal. If we see, this is my Im and this is my IR, that is IR, sorry, Ia, that is Ia equals to IR sine delta. So the angle between these two is 90 degrees. So it is mutually decoupled or orthogonal. So from here we can approximate easily that for an integral horsepower machine, the approximate equivalent circuit will be this. This is my approximate per phase equivalent circuit, okay, because this Rs plus j omega e lis, Rs plus j omega e lis is much less than omega e lm. So what we have done, we have shifted the shunt branch parameter from this place to this place, because this condition is true, and with this performance prediction, to simplify the circuit is only give a 2% or rather maximum 5% error in case of actual machine. So from this figure, what is my IR? My IR equals to, the voltage is Vs divided by, my resistance is Rs plus RR by S, Rs plus RR by S, root over of square, plus this is omega E lis, this is omega E lir. So if we take common omega E, so it will omega E square lis plus lir whole square. So this is my IR. So this is my IR. So what I will do, I will put this value into the torque equation which we just deduce few minutes back, that is that torque equals to, that is torque equals to 3 P by 2 IR square RR by S omega. We have deduced this few minutes back. So we will here put the value of IR square, and it will become 3 into P by 2 RR by S omega E into Vs square by Rs plus RR by S square because IR square, so their root term will not be in here, so omega square into the inductance or LIS plus LIR. So this is my torque equation. So if we look here, the S term is here, so we can say that induction motor torque is basically a function of slip. Induction motor torque is basically a function of slip. Now this torque T can be calculated, this equation which we have deduced, and we see here this the torque is a function of slip. So from here we can draw the torque speed characteristics, and we will extend the value we have discussed. Right now we have discussing the motoring zone, and we will change this value of S for different other zone. Okay, so this zone, one is called plugging zone, so one is called plugging, and the range is from 1 less than S less than 2. Motoring zone is this is my motoring zone, and one is degenerating zone where the slip is less than 0. Slip is less than 0. Why? Now for a braking operation, the slip is ns minus of 2 ns by ns. Sorry, minus of ns. It will rotate in opposite direction, so it will become 2 ns by ns, that is 2. And in regeneration, it is rotating in super synchronous speed. So S will become ns minus super synchronous speed, that is 2 ns by ns. So it will become less than 0. So this is regeneration. So if we see our so this is my total torque versus speed curve of induction motor. Now if you recall, in plug-in the rotation is opposite to each other. Omega is in clockwise direction, it is in anti-clockwise direction, and these two cases the rotation is in same direction. Okay. Now in normal motoring zone, TE is 0 at S equals to 0, and as S increase, that is speed decrease, T increases in a quasi-linear curve. This is a quasi-linear curve until this breakdown torque, that is the maximum torque TEM. So this is my breakdown torque or maximum torque TEM. So this is my breakdown torque or maximum torque TEM is reached. In this region, the stator drop is small and air gap flux remain approximately constant. Now beyond breakdown torque, T decreases with the increases of S, and when this S equals to 1, it will denoted as TES or starting torque. Okay. Now in plug-in region, the rotor rotates in the opposite direction, as I have mentioned earlier, to that of the air gap flux. So S become greater than 1, and this condition may arise if stator supply phase sequence is reversed when motor is moving. So motor is rotating, we have changed that phase sequence. So suddenly we have changed the phase sequence of the motor, or because of an overhauling type of load which drives the rotor in the opposite direction, the plugging occurs. Now since the torque is positive but the speed is negative, the plugging torque appears as a braking torque. Now here speed is positive, but here torque is positive, but if you see the speed is in negative zone, in negative axis, so that torque is braking torque. Now, but the energy due to the plugging torque is dissipated within the machine. So what happened? It will heated up the machine, and in the regeneration region, that is this region, the machine acts as a generator, and the rotor moves at super synchronous speed 2 ns. We just discussed few minutes back. So the slip become negative, creating negative of regeneration torque. Now negative slip is corresponding to the negative equivalent resistance RR by S. So slip is negative, so this term will become negative. So if it is positive, this term positive, it will consume power. It is, if it is negative, it will feedback power to the source. So with a variable frequency power supply, the machine stator frequency can be controlled to be lower than the rotor speed to obtain a regeneration braking effect. So this is all about an induction motor can continuously operates as a generator, that is induction generator, if it is shaft is rotated in super synchronous speed by a prime mover such as wind turbine. So using a wind turbine, you can continuously rotate the induction motor rotor with the super synchronous speed, that is the speed higher than that synchronous speed ns. So it will become the induction generator. So when we have studied the induction generator, we have learned this theory. And one more thing, by controlling the machine stator frequency, we can control the machine stator frequency can be controlled by to lower the rotor speed omega e less than omega r. So then only the slip in regeneration mode will become negative. So if omega if is less than omega r, then only slip become negative. So this is all about today's class. In next class, we will discuss the effect of different parameters like change of voltage, change of frequency, V by F effect, flux weakening effect, stator current effect in this torque speed characteristics in our next class. Okay. So these are the reference we use. Thank you.